Hello, Kris here, Doom Telly time, episode 79, and I'm entering a competition, I'm entering a video, whatever the fuck it is. It's for Metal Marty Mac today, so it's his 1,000 subscribers. I'm sure he described it as a giveaway. Can't remember what's getting given away, but I thought I'd enter the fucking thing anyway. But before we begin, updates, band updates. I can't remember if I mentioned this as the last week's update and stuff, but GODTHRYMM, I know that I've mentioned previous that writing is beginning in earnest for the new album that's going to be, definitely recorded next year. Yeah, we're just in the process of booking some full-on rehearsals to flesh out some of the ideas that we've already got thus far, so I'm very excited about that. We also have some gig announcements. Definitely 2. I feel like there might be 3, but I can't tell you what they are just yet until we've dotted the I's and crossed the T's. But next year, GODTHRYMM gig announcements, so they should be coming soon. Watch this space. Green Sabre update. No new to report. We're rehearsing, I want to say this coming weekend. I've lost my bearings. I think we have, because the gig at the at Night Train in Bradford, Saturday 7th of December, is looming ever nearer. Hamish from GODTHRYMM fame, from My Dying Bride fame, from Solstice fame, from Valenfire fame, from Sears Tear fame, and that other band that he did mention that I've forgotten, which I think was the first thing he was ever in. Anyway, Hamish amazingly will be joining us for that gig to provide guitar chops for Green Sabre on the Saturday the 7th at Night Train. So I honestly cannot wait for that. It's going to be magic. So yeah, we're rehearsing, beavering away, getting ourselves set ready for that. Crowsblood, still writing. We've got a 6th song in the bank. I think like I've mentioned before, we'd like 8, but we're going to be happy to go with 7 because we'll certainly have long enough. Yeah, once we've got those 7 songs finally sorted, which will be New Year now, I would suspect, we're going to get in the studio and record all these up for the full Crowsblood debut album. But anyway, there'll be more updates as this video goes on. So that was my first round of updates, band updates. Another update though, as you will know, a couple of weeks ago I announced the winner to my 200 subs competition. The winner was the fantastically talented Liam Death Doom Metalhead, who won my competition. Shout out Liam. But as I mentioned in last week's video, there was a grave injustice that took place. Roger Kjovig did an entry video that I somehow missed. So it didn't go on my list and it didn't go in the draw. I apologised profusely to Roger, and I hope that he can find it in his heart to forgive me. However, I have a further update. There was a further grave injustice took place during my competition draw. Our very good friend at the This Is Music channel, image inserted, suffered a grave injustice. His video that he'd done for my competition had not been entered into the draw. He will no doubt rightly feel betrayed. He will feel disgust. He will feel a grave sense of injustice. And for that, I can only apologise. I don't know if he has the same militant attitude on coloured vinyl that Roger has, but if he does, I promise to adhere to that moving forward. If not, although I've already made a life promise to Roger to make it up to him, I also promise my remaining human life years to making this up to you, my good friend. Because he did make a video, and not only that, I watched it and commented on it. I just forgot to put it on my fucking list of entries, didn't I? As I like to describe in the workplace quite often, it was just a simple administrative oversight. But it won't do. He's right to feel betrayed. And for that, I can only apologise. Right, moving on. Let's hope that these aren't a regular weekly thread of people that I've forgotten to put in my competition. But speaking of competitions and giveaways, Metal Marty Mac, our good friend over in Cavan Island, Marty, top banana he is too. A pleasure to know you, and one of the many top guys that I've met and gals via this VC YouTube community. He's reached 1,000 subs and richly deserved. One day I will get there, although I suspect I'll be dead before we reach the 1,000 mark. But hats off, Marty. His content is far more engaging and interesting and less cretinous than mine is, which will explain the 1,000 subs. Top work. And to celebrate this, he's doing a competition for the 1,000 subs. And he's, the hot topic, is unsigned bands. Well, as you will all well know, the whole reason for this fucking channel that I make you have to suffer, Green Sabre's doing Telly, was as a way of marketing my, what at the time when I first started this was one band. Long story short, and I've explained this before, our good friend Liam, Death Doom Metalhead, I got in touch with him and basically just said, how did you raise the profile of Consecration quickly? Because I found that I just really wasn't getting anywhere with Green Sabre. We'd got the CD out and it just kind of died a death. I was struggling to get gigs outside of fucking Lancaster, where I can easily get gigs, but if you like gigs where there's like 4 fucking people turn up to them, 4 good people, I should add. The tiny part of the Lancaster scene's fucking dog shit. Let's just get this out there. It's full of backstabbing arseholes, and it is a scene that utterly refuses to make itself better. There is no coincidence that the few bands in the Lancaster scene that have gone on to do something never pay it back to the Lancaster scene, because most of the venues are shit. Not all of them. There are some great venues, and I've mentioned them previously. John and Greg at the Bobbin in Lancaster being a case in point. The pub used to be a great venue, but then they decided that they didn't want to play alternative music anymore. They just wanted to fill it up with the same shit that every other fucking pub in Lancaster is playing. Covers bands. And it's all well and good sitting there and sort of saying, covers bands are what bring the money in. Well, you know, change that dynamic as such. Don't claim to be fully behind the local scene when you're going to cut off one aspect of that local scene because it don't bring enough punters in for you. And not only that, we'd have filled that place for you. But such is. So anyway, without me fucking whining on about the Lancaster scene, it's dog shit for the most part because it does not look after itself. There are some very, very good people in amongst it, and you know who you are if you're watching this. However, there are not enough good people in amongst it. Every band just tries to sort of climb over each other to get any kind of profile. It's probably not helped by the lack of decent venues that they have in Lancaster and Morecambe. Those that do get like a foothold in it tend to get dead clicky and that kind of thing. Unlike the Bobbin that I just mentioned before, that's never been like that and always been great to us. But, so anyway, I've gone off on a bit of a fucking ranty tangent there. But the reason for it is that I found it really, really difficult to raise the profile of Green Sabre. So I asked Liam, and Liam he said, do a YouTube channel. He says, there is more than enough of a market for this kind of thing. He says you can basically talk about your interest in the metal scene and blah blah and all this kind of stuff, but at the same time can be mentioning your bands, and it works, and it does work. There is no denying that it's raised the profile of, well, all of my bands tenfold as such. So yeah, for that I cannot thank you guys enough, and that's why I kind of leapt on this competition of Marty's, because that's kind of what I've been doing in most videos. I always do the band roundup to start them all off and stuff. I thought it was a great idea. And like he says, it can be the catalyst for some bands as such. Now, as you all know, watching this, I've got 3 bands now. One of which is GODTHRYMM. That is signed. We're on Profound Law Records. I'm thrilled with that. I am. It's an ace label. And to think back when I was like listening to Mirror Reaper by Bellwitch and, you know, Wayfarer stuff, and the list goes on with Profound Law's name of great bands that they've had on that label that have since moved on or still got now. And to think that I'd be on that label and just recently released my first single, not a physical copy sadly, which I can't wait for a physical release on it as such, but that's just for my own validation. But my first single with GODTHRYMM, the Light single that came out in September. Yeah, September. my first release on Profound Law with GODTHRYMM. So that I'm thrilled. So GODTHRYMM won't be mentioned in this video because they're on Profound Law Records. However, Green Sabre and Crowsblood are still unsigned, struggling bands. Not for much longer, hopefully. But anyway, so I leapt on this competition of artists because I thought it was a great, great idea. I have done videos on who is Green Sabre, what is Green Sabre, how is Green Sabre, and so on and so forth. So I won't go into a tremendous amount of detail, but just to sort of say that the Numb EP that almost all of you must own out there that are watching this now, although not enough of you, I've only had 100 pressed and I've still got about 20 odd left. The CD, the t-shirt, there we are. Both available via my Bandcamp site. I'm sure a sock just fell out of that fucking t-shirt then. That'll be one of boys' socks that we lost. Anyway, yeah. Green Sabre. So, long and dull story short, I won't go into the full fucking semantics of how it all started and began. But began in 2018 as a way of me processing what doom metal riffs I was in another band at that time called Merricane that was more a kind of power metal, power thrash, power death. We're still going, we just haven't done anything in about 5 years. And I'm not wholly convinced we will do anything again for that matter, but never say never. But yeah, we're doing that. And then in between, because the lead guitarist in Merricane is Dave Pugh of Skyclad fame, and in between, whenever he was off with Skyclad, me and Brian were left kind of like, who was drums in Merricane, drums in Green Sabre, we were left sort of twiddling our thumbs. We know what to do. So, long story short, I got these doom riffs that have been, just like 4 or 5 of them that have been sat there with nowhere to go because they were far too doomy for the Merricane sound. My dad had passed away, and yeah, there've been a few things going on in my life that I remember saying to Brian, I've got this doom project idea, and the idea was that to record it, to just record my ideas and get them out there and sort of scratch that itch, if you will. Brian was all over it. It's like, yeah, I'd love to. Gives us something to do in between while Dave's away with Skyclad. And that's how it started. It came along dead well. Gaz got in touch to sort of say, because we'd done the Facebook pages and all that, and just started firing out the odd feeler here and there. New project, Kris and Bry, doom metal, blah, blah. Gaz got in touch he said, I fancy doing a doom thing again. Do you want, and Gaz was a natural fit. It was like, yeah, of course. We've worked with him before in Desolate. That, again, this all ties back to Marty, because Marty did a video with demo cassettes that he bought in a run of, and the Desolate one was in amongst it there. I mean, crazy, small world as such, like, you know, because we really did not press many of them. 50 tops. I'll bet you it were nearer 30 that actually got out there and saw the light of day. So he's got a very, very limited piece of stuff there. But Gaz joined in, and yeah, it felt like a proper band then. What at the original concept stage had just been a recording project. All of a sudden, when we fleshed it out and started practicing to go into recording, realised we could do this live, you know. Recorded it a bit rushed, and you can sort of tell that from it. It is very much a demo vibe. I mean, it's always known as the Numb EP. I should have probably called it the Numb Demo, quite frankly, because although I'm really, really proud of it and it sounds ace, it sounds like a demo. So the idea is in 2025 the idea being is to re-record the 3 main tracks off of this, along with 2, possibly 3 of the new ones, and do a full album length where you get to hear some new stuff, and the 3 bulky songs on this, outside of the intro and outro, the 3 main songs, you get to hear done and recorded properly. And that's the idea in 2025. Now, we've hit the skids a bit this year, and you would think it would be the fact that I've committed myself to 4,000 other bands, but that is not the reason why Sabre's hit the skids. In actual fact, I've found it's fucking busy, you know, balancing 3 bands that I'm in at the moment, GODTHRYMM, Green Sabre, Crowsblood. But it's doable. We've not had any clashes as yet, touch wood, and it's proved doable. but fucking busy and frantic, and there's a lot going in. It's difficult enough remembering one band's fucking set list, let alone 3 of them. But it's doable. So it's not that that's kind of derailed Sabre this year. And I don't want to point the finger at one person, but effectively, when we got rid of Gaz this year, it felt like a very freeing experience. I don't want to throw Gaz under the bus because he's not here to defend himself, but there was a necessary reason to get rid of Gaz, because any of you that are in bands with other... You have to be... I'm not saying that you've got to live it and breathe it, but you kind of have to. You have to be committed to every aspect of what goes on. And this is an expensive commitment as well. And that cannot be... I cannot stress that enough. If you're doing the band thing, it's fucking expensive. You've got rehearsals to pay for. You've got equipment to pay for. You've got fucking merch to pay for. You've got recording to pay. There are so many, and they're not even hidden costs. They're just outright fucking costs that come with doing bands. It's so expensive. And if you're not committed to that aspect of it, then you're not going to go overly far. You have to front and centre attack that aspect of it. What you also have to do is the fucking basics. And this sounds like the most daft thing to say, but it's not just about practicing in rehearsal room. You've got to practice at home. You've got to go through your bits. You've got to know your bits. Tweak them where you sort of think, actually, this might work better. Know your craft. Don't just rock up at rehearsal and think, right, what did I do last week? And ultimately this year, and hence why after this December 7th gig at Night Train, Green Sabre will have only done 2 gigs in 2024. One right up at top end at year, end of March, I want to say, wasn't it, where we did the brewery tap in Bradford with Dawn of Elysium. And that was fucking great night as such. But it felt like the writing was on the wall with Gaz at that point as well. We should have had another gig. We were supposed to do the Ruination Festival in Bradford, and ultimately, and what made Gaz no longer part of the equation was he came up with a really ropey excuse to, I can't play that gig, or I can't get to that gig. This was the day before it. And we'd been so looking forward to that gig. The Barbarian Hermit were on at it. Battalions played it. The Dystopian Future Movies. Who's the other fucking band that we're on? Anyway, there was some absolutely fucking stellar acts on at that thing. We'd been looking forward to it since we got told we were going to be playing it the year before. And to have to fucking throw it for a bullshit excuse on the eve of the gig was just like, right, no. So, it went basically. So, and then Gaz went after that because it became painfully clear that he wasn't committed to it. I mean, ultimately, before we'd gone down this path, I was very clear with everyone. If you're not up for this, let me know. Just let us know. Don't let us get to this situation where... So anyway, I'm going a roundabout way of sort of saying it's fucking difficult for unsigned, unknown bands. It is so difficult to stay on that straight and narrow. And one of the reasons for me joining GODTHRYMM was not only because Hamish is ace, they're all fucking magnificent. Sean, Kath, Hamish, Bob, fantastic guys. Not only are they great, not only is GODTHRYMM's music fabulous, and Distortions was one of my albums of 2023. Absolutely fantastic bit of work. So to get the offer to play that stuff was just mind-blowing, and I was never ever going to say no. I will find a way, and I did find a way to join that band. But also, from a selfish perspective, I thought this might also help put Green Sabre on the map as such. And it will most definitely do that when Hamish comes and joins us on the 7th. So anyway, I've gone into way too much fucking detail on that one there. But Green Sabre, I want to give them a shout out. You've all been great and supportive behind this, and for that I can't thank you enough. But yeah, tell your friends. I just want the validation. I want an album out on a record deal, and maybe do a nice festival in Europe here and there. That's all I'm asking for. Green Sabre. Look, I only got a few done. But yeah, mugs. Yeah, no, not Green Sabre mugs. Green Sabre mugs. If you want one, I'd probably have to charge a tenner for them, but if there's enough demand, I might get a few in. So that's about Green Sabre. I'm also wanting to talk about another band, my other band that I have on the go, Crowsblood. Look at that. Slightly higher quality packaging there as well that Lee got done. Shout out, Lee, whichever one he is. Zaki in the middle. Am I hiding? I'm hiding there. That's Lee. Crowsblood, my other band that I have with my brothers Aki and Lee of Oakenthrone fame, and I also appear to have joined Oakenthrone as well, so I do have a fourth band on the go. That's only going to be, as it stands at the minute, it's only going to be a recording project though moving forward, is Oakenthrone, but I'm absolutely thrilled to be a part of it. And while we're on that subject, the new single that I sang on for Oakenthrone, A Chapter in Sacrifice it's called, I'm so proud of it. It's a monstrous bit of riffage by Lee, as is pretty much everything that Lee puts his name to, quite frankly. And I am honoured to be a part of that. It's out now. There will be a link down below to the new Oakenthrone track. I'm doing clean vocals on it. I can't listen to myself sing because I just have these fist in mouth moments. It's so hard to... All I can hear is my voice. Do you know what I mean? I don't sound like Ronnie James Dio like I dreamed that I would. But anyway, see what you think. It's down below. I love it. It's got really, really good feedback thus far. And so hopefully you will love it too. But yeah, I've digressed there. That's another band that I'm talking about. Oakenthrone, unsigned. Crowsblood. I remember way back when, I'm not very good with the dates on it, but I remember having a conversation with Lee about how, not that we were bored of the doom metal thing, because our lives have been doom metal. I mean, Lee's especially, you know, coming from, Lee started in Solstice, it went on to Serenity, there was Kang that became, let me get my bearings right, Kang that became Lazarus Blackstar, Lazarus Blackstar, and then there was Monolith Cult, and then Oakenthrone, and now this. So Lee's a big fucking name in the doom scene, and I'm not as big a name in the doom scene as Lee, clearly, but we've both been doing it for an age. Aki been drumming in Oakenthrone for ages, and Lee just sort of said, I fancy doing something more death metal, more, you know, even with a hint of Blackened, but we were never going to be full-on sort of black metal as such. The hint of Blackened was always going to be more of a dissection, melodic thing to pull into it. And pretty much, that's what it's become. I remember Lee asking, would you be up for a little sort of side project? I was like, yeah, I'd fucking love to. And this was August, I want to say, back end of July, early August 2023. And then Oakenthrone supported GODTHRYMM at their Distortions launch gig at the Broodnell in Leeds last August. Can't remember the exact date. And we got talking about it more during... Oakenthrone had played that. It was after them. We got talking about it more at that gig and started to really flesh it out and cement it. Aki was there, of course, playing drums for Oakenthrone that night. So the three of us got together and decided, yeah, we're all up for this. Let's do it. We had nothing barring, I think, 2 riffs that Lee had and a riff that I had. And it was like, right, shall we book a rehearsal? And we did. And that rehearsal happened maybe about a month later. So it'll have been back end of September 2023, I want to say. But I'm a bit sketchy on those details, but we got our first gig at Voltage, first rehearsal at Voltage in Bradford, and here we are now. It's safe to say it went stunningly well. It was one of them where you just like an energy in the room, and you just, you know, a few side eyes at one another as if fucking hell, this is better than we thought. And even we thought it was going to sound like, and it just sounded ace. And from that point onwards, we knew we had a band. Crowsblood CD, and look at this, absolutely stellar t-shirt. The Murder of Crows demo CD and t-shirt. Both available along with the Green Sabre stuff at the links down below in the description via the Bandcamp pages. So please do go and check them out. And it's been an absolute laugh riot. We both, cause Oakenthrone was Lee's baby as such, like, and Green Sabre was my baby, and we're both very much in charge of those individual stations. There's a lot of stress that comes with them. You feel like the stress of that being a success entirely rides on you, because I am the main creative drive in Green Sabre, and Lee was the main creative drive in Oakenthrone. And there's a stress that comes with that. Now, we're an equal collective drive in Crowsblood, but it feels like there's no stress at all. It is just so much fun, honestly. It is such a laugh at Crowsblood rehearsals. And hence we've had many a Crowsblood night out or day out at Damnation and stuff like that. It is great. I love the Crowsblood experience, and long may it continue. So, and like I say, I mentioned earlier in the update, we're putting together an album's worth of tracks that we're going to record next year, and I can't wait for you to hear them. I would like someone to put these out officially for us. Would be great. You know, a classic death metal label. I'm looking at you, Macho Records. No, honestly, there's so much quality come off of Macho Records that we would love to have our name attached to that. And my grandma was from the Partick area of Glasgow, so that's my Scottish connection as well. But anyway, but yeah, struggling bands, but I know that we've got what it takes on both fronts as such. It's just a matter of somebody giving us that that push, that away. And it's more, I'm not daft enough to think that we're going to be playing the Royal Albert Hall or any point like that. And for any of you out there that are watching this thinking, I want to start a band and I want to be successful and sort of, there's no money in extreme metal, in underground metal. All there is heartbreak and expense. And that's not, you know, I'm not going to be one of these people that's like, hey, follow your dreams, kids, and you can rise to the top like Cream, and, you know, and all that fucking shite. All these people that say that stuff forget to tell you that there is a gargantuan slice of luck that comes with those things as well, and about being in the right place at the right time and just having that. But I like to feel like I've sort of made my own luck with the music thing, and I feel so lucky for getting in the GODTHRYMM stuff, because I feel like I made my luck happen there. I ploughed away. The work that's gone into Green Sabre and into Crowsblood cannot be understated. It doesn't feel like work when you're having this much fun, but work it is. So you constantly, when I'm not at my actual job, and I'm a facilities manager at the University of Leeds, so that's quite highly stressful in itself. It's a stressful top end role, and there is one, if anything fucks up, it comes down to one person, so I've got to be on it. So work is great. I love my job, don't get me wrong, I love doing it, but there's work stresses. And what do I do to relax? I decide to be in 8 million fucking bands. So there are external stresses as well. But anyway, I'm making it sound like it's a fucking terrible ordeal is doing this band thing. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't fucking love doing it. Do you know what I mean? And if ever the love goes out of it, you stop doing it. It's fucking expensive. If you're not loving what you're doing, then just don't. There are many other things that you can spend your money on. A nice holiday, you know, rather than fucking strings every few months, or a new fucking pedal because your other one fucking fritzed, or your amp blew up and you've got to get to a fucking gig. It's tremendous expense, but I wouldn't change it for the world. And look at me, a fucking half hour. Though I guarantee you that Marty's competition entries for this competition, none of them will be over half the fucking time that this is. But I had 2 bands to fucking talk about, and you know how I can waffle, and I had an apology to do. This is music as well at the start, so. But anyway, yeah, just one final thing on Crowsblood. We have our first gig confirmed next year. The From the Crypt Festival at Night Train in Bradford, that's arranged by my very good friend Rich in Gods of Hellfire. Shout out, Rich. We're on at that. We're opening It's Crowsblood's first gig. It's scheduled for it's like the Easter weekend, so I want to say like early April 2025. We've got more than enough time, and we'll only need half an hour, so we will be ready and set. So if you want to see Crowsblood for the first time ever live, don't know what I'm going to wear yet. So many uniform and outfit choices I have to make. But if you want to be one of the first people to witness Crowsblood live, you're going to need to get yourself to Bradford to Night Train. Can't remember the exact weekend, but there'll be a link somewhere along the lines on Facebook or on Instagram. April 2025 from the Crypt Festival. I've actually managed in some guys to play every fucking one of these. We were on at the very first one with Green Sabre. We opened that in 2023. We played this year's in 2024. I headlined it with GODTHRYMM. And next year, I'll be opening it again with Crowsblood. So, yeah, right, half an hour. Let's fucking wrap this up. Congratulations, Marty. 1,000 subs and counting, and richly, richly deserved. You were a top man. Really, really supportive. Genuinely great bloke. I am very, very much looking forward to seeing you at the Dead of Winter Fest 2 up in Glasgow in January. That I have every intention of getting to. I've not bought a ticket yet, though. So I will remedy that. But, like I say, that what spare money I have gets siphoned off in 1,000,001 different directions, so it's not always easy to get to all these things. But I do intend to get up there and see you all and meet you in person, Marty. Congrats on the 1,000 subs. I hope you enjoyed my waffling shite about my 2 unsigned bands. Green Sabre, available on Bandcamp, and Crowsblood, available on Bandcamp. Yeah, thank you for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. I've had a few more likes. I'm 1 off 250. I'm not doing another competition for that because I will no doubt forget several people that entered valid attempts to win my prize that they never stood a chance of getting, of which I can only apologise. So, yeah, that is all. Next week, I'll be back to my 10 years of metal, and it will be the year 1994. Some spicy content, I'm sure you will agree. But until then, you'll just have to wait. See you later, guys and gals.